The nexus transformed around them, its crystalline structure flowing like liquid starlight as quantum engineering reshaped reality itself. Maya floated at its heart, her consciousness expanded across multiple dimensions, feeling the awakening of humanity rippling through space and time. Through her quantum-enhanced senses, she could see the Concordat fleet reacting with growing panic as their worst fears materialized. Multiple quantum signatures detected across human space, Echo reported, her mercury skin blazing with data streams. The awakening was successful. Humanity is remembering. Maya nodded, though the gesture occurred in several realities at once. Through the quantum network, she felt the others, thousands of awakened engineers discovering their true nature. A maintenance worker on Titan reorganizing matter with a thought. A teacher on Mars showing her students how to step sideways through probability. A cargo pilot near Alpha Centauri learning that space and time were more suggestion than law. The Concordat forces had breached the station's outer defenses, but found themselves trapped in a maze of shifting quantum geometries. Maya smiled as she felt their confusion. Dr. Kane, status of the Forge. Kane's hologram sparkled with newfound energy as the uploaded consciousnesses settled into the station's matrix. The quantum forge is at full power, but Maya, you need to understand what you're about to attempt. Merging the physical and quantum realms could destroy everything, she finished. Or restore what was taken from us. Echo knew this was coming, didn't you? The alien's silver eyes met hers. I knew humanity would either transcend or fall trying. The Concordat feared your potential because they saw it in your past, in ruins of quantum engineering that predated their own civilizations. Another blast rocked the station as the Concordat fleet concentrated their fire. But their weapons meant for conventional space barely touched the quantum-enhanced structure. Maya reached deeper into the Forge's power, feeling the barriers between realities growing thin. They took our history, she said, her voice resonating across dimensions. Suppressed our nature, made us forget what we really were. Her eyes glowed with quantum fire. Time to remember all of it. Through the quantum network, she sent a message to every awakened human. Remember with me. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Thousands of quantum-awakened minds joined with hers, their combined consciousness reaching through time and space. The Forge responded, its power multiplied by each participating mind until reality itself began to bend. Concordat vessels launching quantum warheads, Phoenix warned. They're attempting to collapse all local reality streams. Echo's skin darkened with concern. Maya, if those warheads hit. They won't. Maya stretched out her awareness, feeling the quantum signatures of the incoming weapons. With the combined power of humanity's awakened engineers flowing through her, she didn't just disable the warheads. She rewrote their fundamental nature, transforming weapons of destruction into catalysts for change. The explosion that followed wasn't one of devastation, but of revelation. Reality rippled outward from the nexus like waves in a cosmic pond. Every human touched by the quantum awakening felt their consciousness expand further, accessing not just the knowledge of what they were, but the memory of what they had been. Cities of impossible geometry, preserved in quantum spacetime, began materializing in orbit around human worlds. Ancient technologies, hidden in dimensional folds, awakened to their creator's return. The Concordat fleet found themselves facing not just a station of quantum engineers, but an entire civilization remembering its true nature. Their weapons fell silent as the quantum revolution swept through human space. Maya felt the change in her bones, in her very atoms. She was no longer just a bridge between states of existence. She had become a focal point for humanity's transformation. Through the quantum network, she sensed the Concordat's fear turning to awe as they realized the truth. They hadn't prevented humanity's ascension. They had only delayed it. They're retreating, Echo observed, watching the enemy fleet pull back. Humanity's quantum signature is too strong now, they can't suppress what's already free. Maya descended to the chamber floor, though part of her consciousness remained expanded through quantum space. They'll be back, with allies. Let them come, Dr. Kane's hologram said, his image now stable across all reality streams. Humanity remembers who and what they are now. The age of hiding is over. Maya turned to Echo, seeing her alien companion in a new light. You knew this would happen, all of it. That's why you chose me, why you waited until exactly this moment. Echo's mercury skin rippled with patterns that transcended normal spacetime. I knew humanity needed a catalyst, someone who could not just remember but help others remember too. The Concordat thought quantum engineering was a technology to be controlled. She smiled. They never understood it was simply humanity's natural state of being. Through the quantum network, Maya felt the changes spreading. Humans everywhere were remembering, awakening, transforming. Not into something new, but into what they had always been. Beings of quantum potential, existing in all realities at once, bound only by their own imagination. So, she said, looking out at the transformed station, at the quantum-enhanced ships now appearing in human space, at the ancient cities emerging from dimensional storage. What do we do now? Echo's silver eyes sparkled. Now you do what humans have always done best. She gestured to the infinite possibilities spreading before them. You create, you explore, you evolve. Maya Torres, quantum engineer, catalyst, and now guide to a reborn civilization, smiled as she felt humanity's consciousness expanding across reality itself. The Concordat had tried to make them forget who they were, tried to keep them bound to a single layer of existence. But they had forgotten the most fundamental truth about human nature. You can't suppress what was meant to be free. The quantum revolution had begun, and this time humanity would remember. Captain Maya Rodriguez hadn't planned on making history today. She'd been perfectly content making her usual cargo runs between the outer colonies, living life one shipment at a time aboard her vessel, the Starlight Runner. But fate had other plans, announced by the deafening screech of her ship's warning systems as she passed the Kuiper Belt's outer edge. Critical engine failure imminent, the AI droned, its synthetic voice echoing through the cramped cockpit. Emergency landing required. Maya's fingers flew across the holographic controls, scanning for any suitable landing site. The nearest official port was 3 days away, time she didn't have. Her eyes locked onto a promising blip. Asteroid KX-249, recently fitted with an emergency beacon and rudimentary atmospheric dome by the Mining Guild. As she guided her ship toward the asteroid's surface, something caught her eye. A faint purple glow, barely visible against the rock's dark surface, pulsed rhythmically. Not the standard emergency beacon color, not any human technology she recognized. The landing was rough. The Starlight Runner's hull screamed in protest as Maya forced it down onto the asteroid's makeshift landing pad. When the dust settled, she pulled on her envirosuit, grabbed her emergency kit, and headed out to investigate both her ship's damage and that mysterious light. The asteroid's thin atmosphere meant she didn't need full-pressure seals, but the cold still bit through her suit. The purple glow led her to a narrow crevice in the rock face. As she approached, the light dimmed, almost as if hiding from her. "Hello," Maya called out, her voice carrying in the thin air. "I'm not here to hurt anyone. My ship's damaged. I just need..." A soft chirping sound interrupted her, followed by movement in the shadows. 2 figures emerged, unlike anything Maya had ever seen. They were roughly humanoid, but their skin seemed to shift colors like oil on water. The taller one had elongated fingers that ended in points of light, while the shorter had markings that spiraled across its face like constellations. The smaller one spoke first, its voice a melodic series of clicks that somehow formed themselves into words Maya could understand. "You are not like the others." Maya slowly raised her hands, showing she was unarmed. "What others?" The taller alien stepped forward, its movements liquid smooth. "The ones who hunt, the ones who destroyed our ship. We have been here for 7 cycles, waiting, hiding." Understanding dawned on Maya. She'd heard rumors of alien refugees appearing in the outer systems, fleeing some unknown threat. Most people dismissed them as space tailies, stories told over too many drinks in colony bars. "I'm Maya," she said, keeping her voice gentle. "My ship needs repairs, but I have food, water, and medical supplies if you need them." The aliens exchanged looks. The smaller one's markings pulsed briefly before it spoke again. "I am Lyra, my sister is Vila, we have not eaten in many cycles." Maya's heart clenched. Whatever these beings were, whatever they were running from, she couldn't leave them here to starve. "Come with me. The Starlight Runner isn't much, but it's warm and there's plenty of room." "Why would you help us?" Vila asked, her voice carrying an edge of suspicion. Maya thought about all the times she'd been stranded, all the times other pilots had stopped to help her despite the risks and costs. "Because someone once helped me when I needed it, and because it's the right thing to do." As they walked back to her ship, Maya realized her life was about to become significantly more complicated. Harboring alien refugees wasn't exactly legal in colonial space. But looking at Lyra and Vila, seeing how they moved closer together for protection, how they watched her with equal parts hope and fear, she knew she couldn't do anything else. The ship's damage was worse than she'd hoped, but better than she'd feared. The main engine would need parts she didn't have, but the auxiliary systems could get them to the nearest friendly port if they were careful and lucky. As Maya helped her new passengers aboard, she noticed something strange. Where Lyra and Vila touched the ship's hull, tiny patterns of light spread like frost across metal, and for a moment the engine's warning lights flickered and died. "What was that?" Maya asked, unable to hide her amazement. Lyra's markings swirled faster. We can communicate with machines. It is why they hunt us, why they destroyed our home." Vila placed one luminescent hand on the ship's interior wall. "Your vessel is wounded, but we can help, if you will trust us." Maya looked between the aliens and her ship's controls, understanding that she stood at a crossroads. Everything she knew about regulations and safety protocols told her to be cautious. But something deeper, something that had driven humans to reach for the stars in the first place, told her to take the chance. "Show me," she said. As Lyra and Vila's lights began to pulse in unison, and the ship's systems responded in ways Maya had never seen before, she realized that her routine cargo run had just become something much more important. Something that could change everything. The Starlight Runner hummed to life around them, its systems singing in harmony with its new passengers. Maya strapped herself into the pilot's seat, watching as her instruments displayed readings that should have been impossible. "Where will we go?" Lyra asked, her voice small but hopeful. Maya smiled, plotting a course that would keep them away from the main shipping lanes. "Somewhere safe, and then we'll figure out how to stop whoever's hunting you." As they lifted off from the asteroid's surface, Maya caught a glimpse of their reflection in the viewport, human and alien, surrounded by the soft, purple glow of possibility. Whatever came next, they would face it together. The energy corridor pulsed around the Starlight Runner like a river of light. Maya had never seen anything like it, streams of quantum particles that her ship's original sensors couldn't detect, forming highways through space that cut their travel time to a fraction of normal. "Our people discovered these paths generations ago," Lyra explained, her markings glowing brighter as she helped the ship navigate the strange dimension. "They exist between the spaces you know, created by the universe's own energy flows." Maya watched her instruments struggle to make sense of their surroundings. "And this is why they're hunting you, because you can access these corridors." Vila moved closer to the viewport, her reflection ghostly against the swirling energy outside. "No, they hunt us because we learned to do more than just travel these paths. We learned to change them." Before Maya could ask what that meant, alarms blared through the ship. The energy corridor around them began to fluctuate, its steady purple glow interrupted by bursts of angry red. "They're here," Lyra's markings pulsed with fear. "They've found us." Through the chaos of the destabilizing corridor, Maya spotted them, three massive ships unlike anything in the colonial fleet. Their hulls were black as deep space, absorbing light rather than reflecting it. Where her ship's enhanced sensors touched them, the readings came back scrambled and wrong. "The Void Hunters," Vila whispered. "They've been chasing our people across the galaxy, taking those they catch, trying to steal our connection to the machines." Maya's hands tightened on the controls. "What do you mean, taking your people?" "They believe they can extract our abilities," Lyra said, her voice shaking. "That they can use our connection to technology to make themselves more powerful, but it doesn't work that way. Those they've taken, they don't survive the process." The implications hit Maya like a physical blow. This wasn't just about advanced technology or space travel. It was about genocide, about beings who would destroy an entire species to steal their capabilities. "How are they following us through the corridor? I thought these paths were secret." "They've learned," Vila said grimly. "With each of our people they capture, they understand more, and now—" A blast of energy from the lead hunter ship struck their wake, sending ripples through the corridor. The Starlight Runner shuddered, its systems flickering. "Maya," Lyra called urgently, "we need to drop back into normal space. The corridor's becoming unstable." "If we do that, we're easy targets," Maya countered, wrestling with the controls. At least in here we have the advantage of your knowledge. Vila pressed her hands against the ship's hull, purple light spreading from her touch. There might be another way, but it's dangerous and we would need you to trust us completely. Another energy blast rocked the ship. Warning lights flashed across every console as the corridor's structure began to break down around them. I'm open to suggestions, Maya shouted over the growing chaos. The alien sisters exchanged looks, then moved to either side of Maya's pilot chair. Our people, Lyra explained quickly, don't just communicate with machines. In times of great need, we can join with them, become one with them. And you want to do this with my ship? Maya asked, understanding dawning. With the ship, Vila corrected, and with you. The three of us connected through the Starlight Runner. It's never been done with a human before, but... Another blast hit them, closer this time. The corridor was collapsing, reality itself seeming to tear at the edges of their vision. Maya made her decision. Do it. Lyra and Vila placed their hands on Maya's shoulders. The sensation that followed was indescribable, like being everywhere in the ship at once, feeling every system, every circuit, every atom of its structure. She could sense Lyra and Vila's presence too, their consciousness intertwined with hers through the ship systems. Suddenly, Maya understood the energy corridors in a way no human ever had. She could see the quantum strings that held them together, could feel how they could be reshaped, redirected. Moving as one being, they reached out through the ship's enhanced systems. The corridor around them began to change, its structure shifting like light through a prism. The hunter ships fired again, but now Maya could see the energy bolts coming in what felt like slow motion. With a thought, they slipped the Starlight Runner between the blasts. With another, they began to wrap the corridor's energy around themselves like a cocoon. The hunter ships pressed closer, their weapons charging for another barrage. Now, the thought came from all three of them simultaneously. The corridor's energy collapsed inward, then exploded outward in a wave of quantum chaos. The hunter ships, caught in the backwash, were thrown out of the corridor like leaves in a hurricane. When reality stabilized, they were alone in normal space, the hunters nowhere to be seen on any sensors. Maya gasped as the connection broke, leaving her back in her own body, her own consciousness. Did we just... She couldn't even finish the question. We collapsed the corridor behind us, Lyra confirmed, her voice weak but triumphant. They won't be able to follow that path again. And we learned something else, Vila added, studying Maya with new interest. Humans, at least some humans, can join with us, can share our connection to the machines. Maya looked down at her hands, still feeling phantom echoes of being merged with her ship. What does that mean? It means, Lyra said softly, that perhaps we were not just running from something. Perhaps we were running toward something as well. A new possibility, a new future for both our peoples. The implications of what had just happened began to sink in. Maya had just helped seal off an interstellar pathway, had briefly merged consciousness with two alien beings, and had discovered that humans might share more in common with their species than anyone had imagined. The hunters will keep coming, Vila warned. They'll find other paths. Let them come, Maya said, surprising herself with her own determination. Now we know we can fight back together. As the Starlight Runner drifted in the quiet of normal space, its systems still humming with residual energy from their merger, Maya realized that her life hadn't just become more complicated. It had become part of something revolutionary, something that could change the course of both human and alien history. She just hoped they would live long enough to see that change come to pass. The Starlight Runner limped into Port Haven's docking ring, its hull still crackling with residual energy from their quantum corridor escape. Maya had chosen this outpost carefully. It was independent, far from colonial authority, and known for asking few questions of its visitors. Right now, they needed all three of those qualities. Keep your abilities hidden, Maya warned as they approached the airlock. Port Haven may be independent, but news travels fast out here. One wrong display of tech merging, and we'll have both the hunters and colonial security on our backs. Lyra and Vila had changed their appearance, their shifting skin now mimicking the muted tones of human coloring. The bioluminescent markings that usually swirled across their bodies lay dormant, hidden beneath the simple spacer clothes Maya had given them. We understand discretion, Vila said, though her fingers twitched occasionally, clearly resisting the urge to connect with the station's systems. But Maya, Something feels wrong here. The station's cyberpulse is irregular. Maya paused at the airlock controls. Since their consciousness merger, she'd started noticing things too, subtle patterns in technology that she'd never perceived before. Right now, those new senses were sending warning signals through her mind. "Stay close," she muttered, cycling the airlock, "and be ready to run." Port Haven's main concourse was unusually quiet. The normal buzz of traders, smugglers, and drifters had been replaced by an atmosphere of tension. Armed security guards, more than Maya had ever seen here before, patrolled the walkways. They made it halfway to the parts dealer Maya trusted before the first sign of real trouble appeared. A public news display flickered to life, showing a colonial security bulletin. Maya's heart sank as she saw her own face staring back at her, along with a description of the Starlight runner. "Wanted for questioning in connection with an attack on colonial patrol vessels," the bulletin announced. "Approach with caution. Vessel may be harboring dangerous non-human entities." "Well," Maya said under her breath, "that complicates things." A security guard looked their way, his hand moving to his weapon. Maya casually turned down a side corridor, trying to appear unhurried. "The parts dealer," she whispered. "How far can you sense the shop systems from here?" Lyra closed her eyes briefly. 2 levels down, section C7, but Maya, there are many armed humans between here and there. "There's something else," Vila added, her voice tense. "The station's communication array, it's broadcasting on frequencies we recognize, frequencies the hunters use." Maya's blood ran cold. "They're already here. They're using colonial security to trap us." A shout from behind them confirmed her fears. "You there? Stop and present identification." They ran. Maya led them through maintenance corridors and service tunnels, using every trick she'd learned in years of occasionally less-than-legal cargo runs. But Port Haven's security forces seemed to be everywhere, and with each passing minute, more of the station's systems turned against them. "They're accessing the environmental controls," Lyra warned as they huddled in a forgotten storage room. "Trying to track us through temperature changes and air pressure." Maya wiped sweat from her forehead. "Can you block them?" "If we interface with the station's systems directly, yes, but it would alert the hunters to our exact location." "And if we do nothing, they'll find us anyway." Maya made a frustrated sound. "We need a third option." Vila's eyes suddenly widened. "The other ships, in the docking ring we can sense them. They're crews. Some of them are like you, Maya." "Like me, what do you mean?" "They have the potential," Lyra explained. "The ability to merge with machines even if they don't know it yet. If we could reach them, show them." Maya understood. "You want to create a diversion by awakening other humans' abilities? That's huge. We can't make that decision for them." "The hunters have already made decisions for countless of our people," Vila said quietly. "Perhaps it's time to give humans the choice they never gave us." Before Maya could respond, the storage room's door slid open. She spun, reaching for a weapon she didn't have, but stopped when she saw who stood there. An older woman in a captain's coat regarded them calmly, her dark eyes sharp with intelligence. Behind her stood 2 other ship captains Maya recognized from the docking ring. "We've been watching you," the woman said. "My name is Captain Chen. My ship's system started acting strangely about an hour ago, showing me things I've never seen before. Then I found I could sense things, connect with my vessel in ways that should be impossible." "The awakening has already begun," Lyra whispered. Captain Chen nodded. "Whatever you are, whatever's happening, we want to understand, and right now you need help." Maya looked at her alien companions, saw the hope in their eyes, then back at the human captains who had found them. "It's a long story," she said. "And once you hear it, everything changes. You won't be able to go back to seeing the universe the way you did before." "Honey," Captain Chen said with a grim smile, "that already happened the moment my ship started talking to me. Now, let's get you somewhere safe so you can explain exactly what kind of revolution we've stumbled into." As they followed the captains through secret passages toward their ships, Maya felt the station's systems pulse around them. But now, instead of hunting them, the technology seemed to sing with new possibility. More humans were awakening to their potential, forming connections with their machines that had never existed before. The hunters had meant to steal the aliens' abilities by force. Instead, they had created the circumstances for something unprecedented. a willing sharing of knowledge between species that could reshape the galaxy. Maya just hoped they'd live long enough to see that reshaping through. A fleet of 6 ships dropped out of quantum space in perfect synchronization, their systems humming with shared purpose. At the helm of the Starlight Runner, Maya felt the presence of the other captains in her mind, humans and aliens working in harmony through their merged consciousness. "Hunter vessels detected," Lyra announced, her markings pulsing with nervous energy. 3 capital ships plus support craft. "Colonial security ships too," Captain Chen added through their shared neural link. "They're falling into attack formation." Maya took a deep breath, feeling the combined strength of their small fleet. In the 2 weeks since their escape from Port Haven, more independent captains had joined their cause. Each ship now carried a mix of human and alien crew, all connected through the technology that bound them together. "They're broadcasting," Vila reported, "all channels." "Put it through," Maya commanded. A harsh voice filled their communication systems. "This is Hunter Command. Surrender the alien entities and their human conspirators immediately. Failure to comply will result in your destruction." A second transmission overlapped the first. "This is Colonial Security. Power down your vessels and prepare to be boarded. This is your only warning." Maya opened a channel to their own fleet. "Everyone ready." "Ready," came the unified response, both through comms and their shared consciousness. "Remember," Maya continued, "we're not here to fight. We're here to show them something they've never seen before. Lyra, Vila, initiate the sequence." The alien sisters moved in perfect unison, their hands dancing across the Starlight Runner's controls. Through their shared connection, Maya felt every ship in their fleet align its systems, preparing for something unprecedented. "They're charging weapons," Captain Chen warned. "Let them," Maya replied. "What we're about to do, they can't stop it with weapons." Energy began to build between their ships, not the destructive force their enemies expected, but something entirely new. The quantum corridors that Lyra and Vila's people had navigated for generations started to manifest in normal space, visible to everyone. "By the stars," one of the colonial officers breathed over the open channel. "What are they doing?" The Hunter ships fired first, energy weapons lashing out at Maya's fleet. But the shots passed through the quantum field harmlessly, their energy absorbed and transformed. "Now," Maya commanded. Their combined consciousness reached out through the ship systems, through the quantum field they'd created. Every vessel in the area, Hunter, Colonial, and their own, became linked in a vast network of shared awareness. For a brief, stunning moment, everyone experienced what Maya had discovered with Lyra and Vila. They felt the living pulse of their ships, the infinite possibilities of human-machine-alien cooperation. They saw through each other's eyes, understood with each other's minds. The Hunter ships' weapons powered down. The colonial vessels broke formation. No one could maintain hostility while sharing consciousness with their supposed enemies. "This is what you've been trying to steal," Lyra's voice echoed through the shared awareness. "This is what we would have freely shared had you only asked." "Your way brings death," Vila added. "Ours brings evolution. Choose." Maya felt the shock ripple through the Hunter commanders as they finally understood. Their attempts to extract the aliens' abilities through force had been doomed from the start. The power they sought could only work through cooperation, through mutual trust and respect. The colonial officers were experiencing their own revelation. The regulations and fears that had driven them to hunt Maya's fleet crumbled in the face of this new reality. Slowly, carefully, Maya and her crew began to withdraw from the shared consciousness, leaving their opponents forever changed by what they'd experienced. The Hunter ships were the first to move, but not to attack. Their massive vessels turned away, weapons systems powering down. One by one, they vanished into quantum space, not in retreat, but in contemplation of what they'd learned. The colonial vessels remained, their crews struggling to process what had happened. "Captain Rodriguez," the colonial commander's voice was subdued. We need to talk about the future." Maya smiled. "That's why we came. There's so much we can learn from each other, so much we can achieve together." Later, as the Starlight Runner docked with the colonial flagship for the first of many diplomatic meetings, Maya stood with Lyra and Vila at the airlock. "You know, this is just the beginning," she said. "There will be others who resist, who fear what we represent." Of course, Lyra's markings swirled with determination. Change is never easy. But it is necessary, Vila added, and we have shown them a better way. Maya looked at her alien friends, no, her family now, and felt the hum of the ship around them, the endless possibilities that lay ahead. They thought they were hunting you, she said, but really you were leading all of us toward something greater. The airlock cycled open, revealing a corridor filled with colonial officers and crew members. Some looked nervous, others curious, but all were ready to learn. Maya stepped forward with Lyra and Vila at her sides. Together, they would build a future where the boundaries between human, alien, and machine blurred into something beautiful and new. Not through force or fear, but through trust, understanding, and the simple power of reaching out to those who seemed different. The universe, Maya knew, would never be the same, and that was exactly what they had hoped for.